Hi everyone, I'm Fatimah Benta Gamse, a screenwriter and producer, and you're listening to Sceneful Sundays.
Did Nigeria break your spirit?
Listen, sometimes not that reliable, but it's the voice of the people sometimes. You know you're a good doctor if people don't keep dying.
A podcast that highlights storytellers and filmmakers in Nollywood.
Because I don't want anybody to drag me if you see me doing another Lolaro. Just now I was broke.
I go to audition for a project and it's full of these guys from Big Brother. I'm like, I went to drama school now. I have masters in acting now.
Do you have 1 million followers?
Yeah, we talk about everything from career ups and downs to personal gist and all the juicy things that go into the world of storytelling as we know it.
So hi Demi.
Fatimah, how's it going?
So I was saying this is probably the longest conversation we'll ever have.
I don't know about ever have
For
or
now.
ever had.
English is not my strong. Like everybody needs to know that for now.
But you're a writer though.
I know. Don't worry, it's a struggle. So okay, I feel like I've been stalking you low-key. Like you're one of those actors I'm always like so curious about.
I mean, I'm very stalkable.
And I noticed you're a producer.
Yes, I am.
And that's very interesting for me to see an actor as a not as if like it's strange, but for me it's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And from my stalking, I've noticed that you're very passionate about storytelling and the industry. And I just wanted to like, have you always been this person?
So as far as I know, I've always loved film. I've always known I wanted to be an actor. At least since I was 4.
Okay,
when I saw Jurassic
how
Park.
far?
Yeah, so I saw Jurassic Park when I was 4 and I was like, yeah, that's what I want to do. And I was fortunate enough to study it up to a master's level. So I actually have a master's in acting. So I've always known that film was my life's work. Now, Nollywood was a bit different, right? Because let's just say Nollywood was not part of the plan at some point. But,
It's hardly always part of the plan.
but the way God works,
Yeah.
a 2-week trip turned into
You're one of those.
8 years or something. Yeah, it was a 2-week trip that turned into like 8 years, and that's how Nollywood entered my story.
Talk about this trip, please. How did 2 weeks become 8 years?
Okay, so at the time I was in the US. I just finished my first degree in North Carolina. And that was sort of the period where I realized that, I could be an actor. You know, I just auditioned for Glee. Yeah, it was doing big things. So I just auditioned for Glee. The feedback was great. And so I called my friend in LA, Diokini, and he was like, yeah, you have to come out to LA, you know, and all that. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm going to go to LA. And then I called my father. And I'm like, yeah, I'm moving to LA to be an actor. And he's like, okay. And
Okay,
then
like threatening.
Wait. He's like, okay. And then he hung up. And then he called me back like 10 minutes later and just went off. Like, you must have lost your mind if you think you're just going to drop everything, and all that. And then he just blasted me for like 10 minutes and hung up again. And then my mom called immediately. I was like, yeah, he just wants you to have a plan, this and that. And I was like, okay, let's come up with a plan. So my plan was go back to school. And fortunately, I was looking at going to school in LA. So I did that, got into UCLA. I said, let me come back to Lagos to renew my student visa. And yeah.
You didn't even come for a normal visit.
No, I literally packed for 2 weeks to renew my student visa. And here we are.
What happened?
A 2-week suitcase turned into a whole closet.
How?
So I get there and, I go through my whole, embassy spiel and all that. And guys like, yeah, you're not coming back. Yeah, he's like, yeah, you're not coming back. I'm sorry, I can't give you this visa.
Oh.
I'm just like, oh, damn.
That's so scary. That sounds scary.
And that was the moment my life changed. So whenever things like that happen to me, I take 24 hours to just
Shut
rage.
down. Yeah.
Oh no, I break stuff, I fight with God. I'm just like 24 hours, just get it all out, and then it's now figure out the way forward.
So what was the way forward?
First of all, started with, okay, so we have to do NYC. Luckily for me, I'd already gotten a job at a radio station because radio was also one of the things I was doing. So I got a job at Smooth FM, which is where I did my NYC, and they retained me. So I was with them for about 2-3 years.
As a presenter?
Yeah, as a presenter and a producer as well. And I'd also been a wedding photographer even before I came back to Nigeria. And so coming back to Nigeria for a wedding photographer was just
Oil.
yeah. Like I made so much money. I made more money than I knew what to do with, and then I blew through it all. Yeah, I was literally ordering my deodorant on Amazon. That's how bad it was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I used to buy my deodorant on Amazon.
Bougie.
Hello. And so the period came where I was like, okay, I want to go back to school, but there's only one thing I want to go back and study, and that was acting. And I was also very specific that I wanted to go to London for that because I feel like they have the best training in the world, and I wanted to be trained to be good anywhere. And so I started the process of auditioning for drama schools. This was 2014. I started auditioning for drama schools, got into 2 of them, and that's in itself is a whole process because it's like 1,000 people, 5,000 people auditioning for 20 spots.
Oh, wow.
So you have to audition to get into school.
You know
type
how
thing.
people used to look down on like studying like drama?
Yeah, no, it's a serious.
I didn't even know you actually auditioned to study acting.
You even pay to audition. First of all,
uh-uh.
each audition is like almost £50. So you pay to audition, and then you audition, and then it's like my school was like 1,000 people for 20 spots, and that's a small school. The bigger schools, you're getting like 5,000 people, 10,000 people. You're talking to
Wow.
people who have auditioned. This is their 4th year auditioning for drama school.
What's the alumni like? I'm curious.
So Catherine Zeta-Jones went to my school.
Okay.
Julie Andrews went to my
Oh,
school.
now I get it.
What's this girl's name? The black girl that's in James Bond now. Lashana Lynch.
Oh.
Yeah, she went to my school. So,
Okay, I get it. Okay.
It's And I really like them because they were focused on musical theater as well, which is one of the things that I really love. So I am trained in film, TV, and musical theater.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay. So, let's go back to the usual first question. How are you
Okay.
doing?
Body day clots. I'm alive.
I don't want that answer.
No,
that's a very
that's a for
well.
me. For me,
true,
that's a
true. Let me slow down.
Yeah. Actually, it's been a good week and some. So I'm good. Yeah.
So you went to school in the UK for acting.
Yes.
So you came back to Nigeria, or you went back to LA? Which one?
So after school, I finished in 2016.
Yeah.
And at the time, I was doing the audition rounds. So I was auditioning for The Lion King, auditioning for Hamilton, all that good stuff. Even throwing Game of Thrones in there and all that good stuff.
Your CV.
It's quite.
Do you
stacked.
add auditions to your
No,
CV?
you don't add. You didn't get the role. Now why are you
Yeah,
adding
just
it?
add it. I was there.
You didn't get the role. Now why are you adding it? And so in the process of doing all these auditions, my sister was getting married. And my dad was like, you know what, instead of sitting there and waiting to hear back from these auditions.
Oh, sorry. How did he feel by now?
He's my biggest fan. Even last night we went to, he took us as a family to go watch a movie I was in.
Aww.
And I still can't watch myself something like this the whole time. We went to watch The Wait. So he's actually my biggest fan right now. It's and also my biggest investor. He's like, you know what? Instead of sitting there and waiting to hear back from these auditions, why don't you come for your sister's wedding and see what happens from there?
Yeah.
So I came in, I think, on a Friday. My sister's wedding was on a Sunday. Literally Monday, work started for Inspector K.
Go back. How?
So when I was still in London, the team that runs Inspector K, they had pitched the idea to me because I've worked with them in the past. So they had pitched the idea to me, but they were sort of struggling with how to go about it. So I was like, I'm going to be in town in a few days. Let's sit down, talk about it and all that. And so literally that Monday we started on, and they had asked me if I knew any writers. So that Monday I went in with the writer and we literally started working on the story.
So you started working as a producer?
Yeah.
Oh. That was your first job
that
here.
was my first job was actually interesting.
Yeah.
Well, no, that actually wasn't my first job here because before I went to drama school, I had been acting.
Okay.
So I'd done Giddy Up, I'd done Hotel Majestic.
You were Hotel Majestic.
Yeah. Look,
this world is small.
Which day I was counting, I was like, I've been in this industry for 9, almost 10 years now.
Wow.
It's been a long so I'd been working before drama school, but I decided that, you know what? I felt like I didn't know what I was doing because I was just winging it. So I decided I want to learn this thing properly and be as great as I could be. So coming back after drama school, my first job was actually as a producer for Inspector K.
Yeah.
And then when they put the script together, there was this character that I really liked. Really, really liked. And I was like, oh, I want to play this character. And they're like, he speaks pidgin all through.
Yeah.
And this is me fresh off the plane from London. So I'm like, yo. But literally, I was like, you know what? Give me a couple of weeks. And I literally went to learn pidgin
For that role.
for that role.
Because I know you spoke pidgin in Last Okoroshi.
Yeah. And that is one of the greatest skills that I'm thankful for. Because literally, almost everything I audition for now tends to have pidgin in it. So that's my default. Like now, if I'm playing a certain kind of character,
Yeah.
I just default to pidgin type thing. And then we can switch it back, which is great.
Thank you, Inspector K.
So I learned pidgin for the role, got the role. So on that production, I was working as actor and producer. Which I did for 2 seasons type thing. So I pretty much got thrown into the deep end as a producer.
So producing was not the plan, was it?
It was the long-term plan.
Huh.
Yeah, so I'd always known I was going to produce at some point because I'd always felt like, there'll be certain stories, certain projects, certain characters that I would want to play that I might have to, handle the reins of the production to get it done. Because as an actor, every actor has certain characters that you want to play that nobody thinks you can play.
Yes.
And you just have to produce the project and show them you
because,
can do that.
to be honest, right now, I won't think of casting you in a pidgin.
You should watch The Wait.
I have to.
I actually play
about it.
So in The Wait, I play not just an Agbero, but the head of the Agberos in Bariga. So I was actually working with real Agberos. And I just walk in and I'm like, hi guys, how's it going? Yeah, so it's and I think lately I've been getting called more and more for those kinds of roles.
Yeah.
Type thing. So I mean, it's fun to be able to switch back and forth and all that. So yeah, you have certain characters, and the funny thing is that's not even my dream character. My dream character is Tony Stark. That's my dream character.
Very ambitious in Hollywood, but it can happen.
Marvel is the peak, man. That's where we're going. That's where we're going. So yeah, as an actor, you have certain characters that you want to play that nobody thinks you can play. And but then when you're producing the project or you're executive producing the project, you're
just
like,
cast yourself.
Hello. But then you also get to, for me, what I'm even more passionate about is creating opportunities for other actors. So it's not just about me. I mean, I'm great, but it's not just about me. Because there are a lot of actors out there who aren't getting that shot.
Yes.
And even established actors, it's very easy to get pigeonholed into a certain kind of character. Exactly. Yes. It's very easy to get typecast and it's hard to break out of that. And so even when I watch established actors, one of the things that's running through my mind is I would love to see them do something different.
Yes.
I would love to see Maoli play a nerd, like a proper nerd.
Or you see a brother Shaggy play someone that's not funny.
Exactly.
Like AC. Exactly. I'm sure they can deliver.
I believe he actually can. I believe he actually can. Because he's actually a serious person in person. Like I just did a film with him, Dwindle. And you see him and you expect him to just be funny.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like you just put them in this box and
well, he's actually quite a serious person. Same thing with Falz. Falz is actually a freaking sorry, can I cuss?
I think so. We've had some people say words.
Okay. He's actually a lawyer, so
yes, people forget. No, it's just
exactly.
You just conveniently forget that part.
So even when I watch established actors, I'm like, look, I would love to see them do something different. Something completely left wing, or left field type thing. So yeah, casting is actually my favorite part of the process.
Okay, so on Inspector K as actor and producer, how was that? How did you balance that?
So the interesting thing with producing is every time I do it, I say I'm never doing it again. Never. Especially, actually, I think I almost want to say I'm not going to produce and act at the same time on the same day. Because I remember this one particular night we had been shooting overnight. I was the producer on duty and I was also acting in the scene. And around 3 a.m., the generator goes off and we're shooting in some warehouse in Oregon, like in the middle of nowhere. they can't find diesel.
Hey.
And then the guy now has to be using car fuel to just like jumpstart the generator. And so I have to be dealing with all this and then quickly run back and be in that scene and still be like in the...
Learn your lines and everything.
Yeah, and it was actually an emotional scene, like a crying scene.
Ah.
And I was just like, you know what? Yeah, not again. But no, it's interesting because as an actor, when you produce, you get to get the full picture of the production.
Yes.
Right. And you also realize that sometimes actors can be...
Now you understand why producers are always frustrated.
Actors can be a piece of work sometimes.
Mhm.
Like, because I'm talking to some actors and I'm like, but I'm an actor. Like, you're my guy now. I can't you just...
No, they forget.
No. This is why I say every actor should produce at some point, because you actually get to see what actually goes on, why certain decisions are made. So even now, even when I'm hired as an actor, when things are going on, because I understand, I'm not as fussy as some actors would be. Type thing.
You're more patient on set when there's downtime and everything.
Yeah, I mean, I know how to handle downtime. Just give me my iPad, give me my comics, and a nice place to sleep.
Some people are crying in the background.
I'm just like, when we shoot, type thing. So I think it makes actors a lot more understanding. And then you also get to understand the business side of things, which a lot of us, even me, I'm struggling with. I'm thankful for my business partner because he is the finance guy. So he literally sits me down and he's explaining line by line, this is what this means, this is what these numbers mean, and all that. It almost feels like being in school again.
Yeah.
So yeah, shout out to Adeshegun. Fantastic guy. So yeah, I think it's also great because as creatives, we tend to not acknowledge the business side of things.
Yeah, I run away from the business.
I ran away from it until I couldn't anymore.
Yeah, you actually can't run away from like forever. You have to face it.
Yeah, exactly. So that's literally, I'm in the thick of that right now. Because we just executive produced our first, or co-executive produced our first film. So you have to know those things.
Can you talk about it, or it's like very exclusive?
I mean, I can't go into detail,
Of course.
but it's a great film. It's a feature film, directed by Jade Osiberu, co-executive produced by myself and my business partner Jade, Lala, Adeswan Banki, Akia Motosho. It's quite a stacked. Yeah,
okay.
We're not playing.
I see.
We're not playing. So yeah, it's a story of reality, a certain reality that we all experienced at some point in the recent past.
Okay.
Type thing. Yeah.
Very specific.
We'll leave it at that. So yeah, it's been quite an interesting experience because now you actually have to go and do the fundraising. I
feel like I'm someone that start crying and I'm asking someone for money.
I almost did. I mean, I've guilt tripped a few people.
You have to.
I'm like, you have to give me money.
Yes.
Like, you can't say no to me.
It should be nice.
Exactly. You can't like. What do you mean you're not gonna give me money? Are you okay? Do you know who you are to me?
Please help.
But no, it's actually I've spoken to quite a few financiers, and the one thing that keeps coming back is, look, if your numbers check out, right? If your numbers make sense, sure, why not? And I'm grateful again that I work with a team that have their numbers together and they're very transparent as well, type thing. So I just go in for presentations and I'm just like, yeah, these are the numbers. Read through. Like, they make sense, right? Yeah. And then I speak from the creative side with a lot of passion and a lot of gusto about the project.
You love that.
And they're like, yeah.
I'll put my money in that project.
Yeah, exactly. And then my partner takes over and explains those numbers, and it just works. It just works. So far it's been an interesting run.
Okay, so you mentioned Inspector K and this film. What other projects have you produced?
Okay, so there was Inspector K. I'm trying to go over my CV right now. So I've associate produced a few projects. There was a film that I did with a director called Demi Banwo.
Is that Lizard?
No.
Okay, sorry.
No, Lizard. Oh, we'll come back to Lizard.
Okay.
Lizard was fun. No, that one was called For Maria, which is
Okay.
currently doing the film festival circuit. So it's currently showing in Nollywood Paris. I mean,
Okay.
Nollywood Week Paris.
Okay.
So it's doing the film festival routes. I was also co-creative director for Adekunle Gold's first concert in Nigeria. Yeah.
Quickly talk about that.
So at one point we had the same manager, myself and Adekunle Gold.
Okay.
And she knew I was passionate about musicals, so she had been trying to get me to put together, or we had been trying to put together a musical together. And so in that period, Adekunle Gold wanted to have his first concert in Nigeria. And at the time, we were trying to conceptualize a musical about another artist. And she's like, you know what? No, write a musical about Adekunle and infuse it with his music type thing. And so I came up with the concept of sort of his life story told through his music.
Yeah.
And that's how the show ran. That's how his concert ran. So his concert ran as a musical. We actually had like dancers in there. It was actually supposed to be like a full-blown musical with actors and all that, but we had to take out the acting element because it started to feel like a musical, not a concert,
I guess.
type thing. So we kept it as a concert with certain musical theater elements in there and all that. So yeah, that's one of my best gigs in this life. Let's see, what else have I produced? I'm blanking right now. I'm completely blanking right now.
Okay, let's
that's
say
what I can remember
web, TV.
Web, TV, film, now. Stage. I have one musical in my mind that I really want to do.
Wait, did you produce or direct Fine I'll Sing?
I directed and produced that.
So
okay, look at you going through my TV.
See?
Yeah, we've also dabbled into directing as well, which is, again, that's one thing that in fact, that's the one thing I said I was never interested in.
That thing scares me.
I don't know that I'll do it again because it's just like, so apparently I have certain skills that lend themselves to directing. But to me, I'm just like, what are you people seeing?
What skills are these?
I mean, I don't know. Because that's how I entered directing.
But they call you for directing gigs?
Sanchez.
Told you to direct?
No, Sanchez sets me up to direct.
Oh, you did?
He sets me up to direct. In fact, there was a project that I took to him to direct and I would produce. And he completely flipped the script. He was like, no, you direct, I'll produce.
Oh.
And I'm like,
that's not why I'm here.
Yeah. So even with, so I directed Fine I'll Sing and I directed Bra with Ore Badmus.
Oh, yeah.
And Fine I'll Sing, I don't know if it was Sanchez that set that up, but Ade came to me directly and she was like, look, I want to do a one-woman show because I'd been on her case about it. And she's like, okay, I'm finally going to do it and you're going to direct it. You can't say no.
You asked me to do it.
Yeah. And so we did that. And then Bra came up. And I think Sanchez was supposed to direct that, but he couldn't. And he's like, oh, I know somebody who will be great for this. And that's how I entered the picture. So yeah, I have dabbled in directing. It's not really my thing because I don't think I'm very good at instructing people on what to do. I mean, I approach directing from a teaching perspective.
Okay.
Right. So even when I was working with Ore, she kept saying, you're very different from other directors. You are not, I can't remember the word she used. And I was like, look, I'm not your drill sergeant.
You're not screaming.
Yeah.
Train things.
I'm just going to teach you how I see it in my head. Right. And we take it from there. And it's a collaboration. So if something doesn't make sense to you, because that's also how I work as an actor.
Yeah.
If as a director, you tell me to do something, it has to make sense to me.
Yes.
You have to explain it. Like, you can't just say, oh, walk here.
Because I said so.
Yeah, I'm like, no, I know enough to know. And let's not even get into, you said no violence.
No,
violence.
please, I love violence.
No violence.
Every morning I wake up and choose
industry,
it.
please. Please, I can be a non on Twitter. Not here. So yeah, for me as an actor, it has to make sense. So that's how I approach directing. And apparently that's actually why Ade approached me to direct a show, because we had done an acting workshop together.
Yeah.
And she was even the first person that brought up the directing. So she was like, the way because we did audition technique. And she's like, the way you coached those guys is that's a director's job type thing. So,
Maybe there's something there.
maybe his best director Oscar will collect. This one that we're chasing best actor.
I interviewed him. Oh.
This one that we're chasing best actor. Maybe his best director that is in our future.
Yes.
So I mean, I'm not completely closed off to it, but if I didn't have to, I wouldn't.
I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's been the hardest thing about producing in Nigeria? Share your woes.
There's no easy thing about producing in Nigeria. there's no easy part to it.
What's it like producing in Nigeria?
I mean, off the top of my head, I'm thinking of the hardest thing. The hardest thing is being on set, right? Especially when you're shooting in certain locations and the Agbero will show up and area boys show up. So me, I can act like an Agbero, but I'm really not. I'm really not. So when they show up, I'm just like, yeah, somebody else handle that. Somebody else handle that. But I think for me, that's one of my nightmares. Like I have little nightmares.
You're
about
a very
that.
on-set producer.
I prefer not to be.
Because I know me.
Yeah, I
I
prefer
would
not to be.
set.
I think with this last project, I realized that I don't like being on set if I'm not acting.
Yes.
So I try to avoid being on set. But I think there were a couple of times where I was on set and the Agbero showed up and they turned off the generator and they're like, we're not shooting.
My
and
God.
they're asking for like 300K. And I'm like,
For
300K for fucking what? Are you mad?
For what?
300K just because type thing. And so yeah, I have little nightmares about that. So I think for me that is the hardest part. But I don't think there's any part that's particularly easy. I enjoy casting. I do.
What do you enjoy about casting? I was saving this question but might as well just go in.
Okay, no. Okay, if you're saving casting,
no.
The other parts of producing I enjoy. I enjoy the writing aspect. I'm not a writer, but I've invested enough in knowing about writing. Because I feel like as a producer, you should know what makes a good story.
Exactly.
You should know how to craft a good story.
Yes.
So even when we're doing script workshops, I mean, I've read enough about I live and die by Saved by the Cat.
One of those books that just threw at you. Go and read it.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, the first time it was recommended to me, it was actually recommended to me as an actor, trying to understand different character types and where you fit in. And then I started reading and I was like, oh, this book is about writing.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, this is actually interesting stuff. And you realize that 90 to 95% of movies are following the same script.
Of course.
They're following the same rules. And so I started reading more about writing.
One thing actually about what you mentioned about rules, like when we had a writing intensive, like one thing that actually stuck was that whole, you can bend the rules, but you still have to stick to the same rules, but just play with them.
But see, here's the thing, you can bend the rules, but you have to know the rules.
Exactly.
To bend them.
Exactly. That's it. Again, English.
Exactly. So like someone like Christopher Nolan, for example, you know that one knows the ins and outs of writing and he's just like, yeah, fuck all that. I'm just going to do I'm going to do the opposite of what you guys say. But you have to know the rules to be able to bend them, type thing. So for me as a producer, it's really important because I also find that so it's two things. Either you have producers who aren't creative, or you have creatives who aren't producers.
Oh my God.
And I've always tried to be a creative producer.
Like, we need the middle, please.
That's what I'm trying to be.
Nice balance. Because I feel the producers who are not creative are kind of very frustrating to work with.
Yeah, trust me, I know. Trust me, I know. So I'm trying to be the creative producer where I can approach things from a creative end, but also see the business realities of things, right? Because as creatives, we tend to be high in the clouds.
Yeah.
And sometimes my job is to just, bring you down a bit,
grounded.
just a little bit. Like you're great, your grand ideas are great.
Airplane in the first scene.
Yo.
The first time we're looking at you like, you have money for this.
So tell me when we were doing season 2 of Inspector K, and we told the writers we gave them creative license. We listed the locations. These are the locations we have. Go crazy.
Oh no!
And it went crazy.
Of
I
course.
read the script and I'm like,
tell the writers to go
you
crazy.
don't think we're shooting Hollywood film? Like,
well, you said, why you tell the writers to go crazy?
But you know the great thing. So I was freaking out and all that, and director and DOP are like, we can pull this off. I'm like, what do you mean we can pull this off? Like, we can do it, and we did it.
Okay.
And it wasn't that expensive.
Okay.
I was like, okay. And that actually taught me a lot because it's like, okay, don't just shut down ideas.
Of course.
You know, let's explore how it could be done. Yeah, it may not have been done on the scale that they wrote because they're writing explosions and hackings and shit. And I'm like,
please, I have
yeah.
PTSD from my explosion. You write the explosion, you now watch it like,
yeah, it's just a small
I didn't
fire.
write that. It's not me.
I feel like I know what you're talking about. yeah. So yeah, it's to find that middle ground between the creative side and the business side, and that's sort of the sweet spot that I'm trying to find. So yeah, that has been my that's sort of been my experience with producing. So I do enjoy the writing process.
Yeah.
I said I'm not the guy that will come up with the ideas,
Mm.
but I'm the one that will make your idea make sense.
Yes.
Type thing. And I love casting.
Now let's talk about
Back to that.
casting. What do you love about casting?
So for me, I love seeing, like, when you read a script
Mm.
and somebody just comes in and embodies that the way it was in your mind, and even without performing. So again, I'll go back to another story. While we're auditioning for Inspector K, one of the guys, he got the role even before he auditioned.
How?
So they were in the waiting room, and he started to complain about the AC, right? But he did it in such a way, he did it in the way the character would have done it. He didn't even know which character he was reading for. That's the funny thing. But he just did it as himself.
Yeah.
And it turned out to be what we were looking for. So when he came into the audition, fuck what he did. He already got the role.
Yeah.
Type thing. And that's also what I tell actors, that look, your audition has started once you enter the venue. Like,
Yes.
your audition has started, because I've seen people get and lose roles based on what wasn't even their audition.
Yeah, attitude
Type
is
thing.
also important.
Exactly.
Come to
Like-
audition and start screaming at.
No, so I went for one audition as an actor, and it was in Ikeja at one of these hotels, and we're out in the sun, and this guy comes through and he's arranging chairs and he's getting canopies for everyone, and people are being rude to him and all that.
Mhm.
Come to find out, that's the EP of the project.
I love
Right.
it.
I live
I
for those
love it.
things. I live for those things. Yeah, that's the EP of the project type thing.
Good for you.
So yeah. So you never know, like, when you go to an audition, you never know who is who.
Yeah.
And I'm the kind of EP that I love to not be known as the EP.
Yes.
So that you can be rude to me.
Because once they know, oh my God, they're so nice. Because, see, even as a writer, like, you get that, what's the word? Like, you just say hello to an actor and you're looking at you from
Yeah.
head to like
Like, who
you
are
say,
you?
oh, I wrote on it. Oh, hi. I'm like, no, waka. Keep your height to yourself. Like, no.
Yeah, no, it's like the other day we were shooting like a night scene, and I'm going around spraying, like, because we're shooting with a lot of extras, and I'm going around spraying insect repellent on these guys because I'm being considerate.
Yeah.
And somebody's calling like, Ace, come on. And I'm like, okay, mental notes. Okay, I never want to see you on my set again.
Blacklist forever.
Type thing. So I actually love those experiences. I do. But yeah, it's, again, you never know who is who on set. You never know. I know EPs that are very unassuming. I know writers that are very unassuming. I know directors that are very
Yes.
unassuming. Type thing. So don't just say, oh, you don't know who this person is, so let's treat them like shit, type thing. Notes to actors. But yeah, going back to casting, I do love seeing when people come in and embody a character the way it was imagined in your head, but also when they come in and do something unexpected.
Yes.
And you're like, oh, I didn't see that, but I like that.
Mhm.
That's one of the reasons why I stan Oziago, because there was a project that we were working on, and this character was actually written for someone else. Like, when it was written with someone else in mind. We're like, oh, let's try Ozzy. And
When he
just
did
came
Ip, I did not expect. Like, I would like. I didn't think he had the range
I didn't,
because I've seen him on only like. He's just having this like one note roles, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
okay, this guy can't. Is he like cannot act, or the director is not helping
No, but see, the
him?
things I know he has because I know him as a person. He's
See.
hilarious as a person.
See,
he's
we
very
can't
animated
tell
as a
that.
person. Like, he's one of those. He would be very great in a Judd Apatow movie.
Oh.
He would be fantastic in a Judd Apatow movie, like a James Franco type character. He would kill it, I think, because that's who he is as a person and all that. So he comes in and he does this reading, and we're like, and this is the villain of the film, by the way. And we're like, oh,
That's
actually
one thing.
like
He
that
actually
villain.
looks like he can be a good villain.
Yeah.
Yes.
He actually. So for him, I always stand him for that reason, because he came in and just did something unexpected. That, I mean, he was himself,
Yeah.
but we hadn't seen the character that way. So I also love that when you come in and you just be yourself, man. Just be you. And if it's what we're looking for, great. If it's not, there'll be more.
And don't come inside audition with accents that are not your own. Please.
If you can't do an accent, don't do
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
It goes
Not
from
everybody has to have accents. Not everybody has to have accents, eh? But I mean, hey, everybody has to sell their market somehow.
that's
Whichever
so-
markets they're selling.
But do you think we have because I always look at conversations about casting, even though Twitter is not that reliable, but it's the voice of the people sometimes. Do you think we have a casting problem? Because that's one thing I've seen, like,
Do we have a
everybody say we
casting
have a casting
problem?
problem in Hollywood. And I don't know how to feel about it.
One of the great things about producing is that when it comes to casting, there are certain things I understand now. Like, I'll be very honest with you, as an actor, one of the things I hated the most was when I go to audition for a project, or I hear about or somebody auditioning for a project, and it's full of these guys from Big Brother. Right? That was one of the things that used to irk me as an actor. Because
aka the audition.
I'm like, I went to drama school now. I have masters in acting now.
But do
But
you
you're
have
not
1 million
at the
followers?
top. In fact, I actually did an Instagram post about that. I was like, they said we should be posting on Instagram so that we'll get followers,
please,
so they'll
oh.
give us role.
Yes.
So I used to rage against that as an actor, because I was like, you know what? Fuck it, I'm not playing that game, and then they talk about your brand and this and that, and I'm just like,
Hashtag the
I just
brand.
want to act. Is that too much to ask for? Right? So as an actor, that's on one hand. I still fight against it as an actor. But then as a producer, you now start to understand how a cast is built. Because you have to
Tell
sell
us.
a film.
How do you build a cast?
People do it differently, right? People do it differently. Some people go for the people that can actually act, right? For me, one of the things that usually comes down to is, okay, yes, you can act, but are you going to come and stress me on set? I mean, you can be the best actor in the world, but trust me, if you are going to give me additional headache on set, I don't want. I will find somebody else. There's somebody else that can do what you do. There's somebody else that can do what Denzel does.
Yes.
There's somebody else that can do what Meryl Streep does. Right? So if you're going to come and be stressful, nah, man, I'm not here for it. I'm not here for it.
Nobody has time for that.
Yeah, I usually come down to, please, who is nice? Who am I going to have a great time working with?
And a good tip that actors don't realize, they think sucking up to the big guys is what matters.
No.
But it's the production assistants, the
Like,
makeup artists that will telling you,
exactly.
I don't want this, like, I
Do you
can't
know
work with
the
this person.
funny thing? One of the last auditions I did, it was literally the location guy on a previous project. That he was talking to the producer of another project, and they were looking for a character, and he's like, "Oh, there's this guy I know who can do this well." And literally, he calls me, and I thought he was calling me about a location because I saw his number on my phone. And he's like, "No, I'm with this guy, and he has a role, and he wants you to audition for it." I'm like, "Oh,
That's how it works.
okay,
Yeah.
okay." So you never know where your next gig is going to come from. I mean, I've seen people lose gigs just because they were rude to the makeup person.
It reminds me of this thread I saw. A writer was talking about how she worked on a project where the actor refused to die. And people don't know it's a thing. You look like you have something to say.
I plead the fifth. I mean, I've seen films rewritten so somebody wouldn't die.
No, this one, like, I know we had to get a body drop because the guy refused to die. Like, he didn't want to die. Like, when he saw the thing on the script, he was like, "Oh, okay." We're like, "Oh, just come to set." I said Thursday. That was
And so when did he read the script that he
show
just
up.
saw that?
He's like, I know, like, some producers will tell you ahead of time for like a 260 project now.
Yeah.
For example,
No,
they'll
I think
just
it's
tell
only
you
fair to tell the actor.
exactly. So, like, oh, your character ends here. As
Yeah.
far you're a normal person. You should understand.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, peace out, guys. I'm not filming this death.
Yeah.
And you now see some scenes that you're like, what kind of death is that? But you don't know what's happening.
Oh, so you actually had to use a body double to shoot the
Yes.
death scene. Oh,
So people were really surprised. They're like, oh, they did not know. And someone was like, oh, she cannot kill. And actor was like, oh, she cannot kill because it's again like in real
But I
life. She's all,
mean-
but like this is not real life.
So I read at one point that Queen Latifah said she was not dying again because she died so well in Set It Off. She kept getting a lot
that
of
scene was-
roles. Yeah, she kept getting a lot of roles where she was to die dramatically. And it became a clause in her contract that she cannot die.
But that's different.
I know, I get that. Yeah,
that one, I
know.
will support that
I know,
one.
I know,
but that whole I
know.
don't want to die because of I'm afraid that like I will die in real life. Sorry. You will though, but
Well, again, I said actors can be funny people sometimes. Actors can be funny people sometimes. I love actors to death, but they can be funny.
okay, let's go back to
Yeah.
building a cast.
So yes, back to building a cast. You start to understand why certain decisions are made, why certain people are put in certain roles or certain films. It's even more interesting when you talk to the distribution guys about this.
okay.
It's more
So-
interesting because they're telling you, oh, this person is bringing us Kaduna, this person is bringing us Ibadan, this person is bringing us
what?
Akure. Yeah.
I only heard of that for Alaba times.
No.
When they're like, oh, they only want to see certain faces on
No,
CDs.
no,
But
no,
now I
no,
did
It
not.
happens now.
Oh,
I still heard this. I was still having a conversation like a month or two ago, and they're like, "Yeah, this person is in this film to bring us Dugbe. This person is in
What?
this film to bring us Enugu."
So
Yeah.
people in Enugu will go to the cinema for that face.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and then it even goes further to the point where they're like, "Yeah, if this person is in this film to bring this place, and it doesn't do as much in this place, this person's stock goes down." Yeah.
Wow.
It's some very bleak conversations, but hey, it's a business at the end of the day.
I think people need to be reminded that it's
It is
actually a business.
It is a business, and it comes down to when you're owing investor money, ain't no sentimentality there, man. But again, for me, it's about finding that nice middle ground to where, okay, yes, you're in this film as a face to pull people in, but it also helps when you're good, when you're a great actor. I do love that, and I've seen that work in some great ways. So, for example, I just saw this movie, Breaded Life,
Oh.
and I was really happy to see Timini in that because he did a fantastic job. He absolutely killed that, and of course, he would bring his crew, well, not his legion of fans to watch the
Yes.
film, which also helps. Type thing. So it helps when you're a known face and
People
also a
literally
good
just
actor.
follow him.
Yeah, it's fascinating. It's actually fascinating to watch Timini. How am I here selling Timini? I don't understand.
to be fair, he's been grinding.
Yeah,
like
no,
he's
I would
been-
actually give him
Yeah.
that credit. He's been at it for a while, and he's actually taken the time to become or to start becoming good type thing. Because I've seen him in a few projects, and I'm like, his acting has really improved.
because he's part of the people that people are like, oh, we're always seeing the same faces.
Yeah,
and I'm
but his
like,
acting has really improved. I would give him that, and he's fantastic to work with. Like I've been on set with him.
yes, I always
And
hear
he's just
that.
a pleasure to work with. Like if for that reason alone, I would put him in my film because I know that
Yes.
he will not stress me. Type thing. So yeah, sometimes when you have all that, you're good, you're a known face, and you're great to work with. Come on, you can't go
But
wrong.
how do you become a known face?
Me, I'm not a known face. So I can't- We're still trying
Because
to
to be
become a
fair
known-
to the like younger actors, like you have.
it's tough.
I
Right?
saw someone's rejection letter, an author, and the person
Yeah.
told her you have to be published to get published. And he reminded me of actors and writers.
It's tough, right? So, like I said, for me, I've been doing this for 8-9 years,
Yeah.
and I still feel like I'm just getting to that point. I mean, not a known face, but at least the point where I feel like I'm now working.
Yeah.
And with me, I even work differently. I work differently from the average actor. So first of all, I hate auditions as an actor. I love doing them as a producer, but as an actor, I despise auditions, right?
Why?
Because it's just like you're going in there and you're like me. accept
Pick
me,
me.
pick me.
But
You
that's
know?
but that's literally it. So, like that's the
And
thing.
for me, I'm just like, no, I'm not gonna beg you for a job, but I'm gonna beg you. So I actually hate auditions. So I work differently, right? One of the things I realized was like if I could package myself well, and one of the first things I did, I first of all put together my CV, showreel, headshots to a professional
I
international
hope actors
standard.
are listening.
Right.
CV,
CV,
showreel.
showreel, headshot. And those ones, I tweak them every month or something. And then I came up with a list of people I wanted to work with in this industry, both directors, producers. When I started out, the list was about 60 people, and then it grew to about 100, and then we trimmed it down to like 20.
How did you find 60 people?
No, just off of people's work.
Okay.
You know, I see this film, I watch the credits to see who produced it, who directed it. I write their
You
name
do your
down,
homework.
get that.
That I think people really need to know.
Yeah, exactly. So I write their names down, find how to get their contact info. You'd be surprised how many people's contact info is on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please, shout out to Yoruba film producers. At the end of end credits, you always put their numbers there and email
Oh, are you
address.
serious?
Yes.
Huh.
Yes. Like whenever
Okay,
I watch
that's
Yoruba
good to
film, I'm
know.
like, before it's like, where's your number? And now I'm like, oh,
Yeah, that's why it's
I
there.
get it and I like it.
Okay. So yeah, literally, I came up with that list. So this was sort of my dream list of people. And then as you work in the industry, you now start to cross off some names. You're like, yeah, no. So that list is down to like maybe 20 or 30 people now. But literally, so I put those three things together, and I would sit down in my house and send out emails. Like I'll send out 100 emails a day, and maybe 10 people respond, and maybe I'll get like one job out of it type thing. But I do that like 4 times a year. I do it every quarter. I still do it every quarter. And a good number of the jobs I've done have come from that.
Yes.
I would say like a good 80% to maybe 90% of the work I've done has come from that, because there are people that I've been like when I did Lost Okoroshi, I saw Green White Green in 2015.
Yeah.
And I started emailing Abba since then. Like since 2015, I'm emailing him. And then like 2018, he then responds and he's like, guy, I wrote a character for you.
Oh, wow.
So that character was actually written for me type thing, just based off of the emails type thing. And even this movie that I just did with Film One, Dwindle type thing, I'd been emailing Mimi at Film One, and she's like, yeah, there's a project. And it just happens to be Kaede Kasum, who I've also been emailing, and Dari, who have also been emailing. So it only makes sense.
Yeah.
Type thing. So that's how I work. I know for some actors, their hustle is to go for every audition. I'm 30 plus. I don't have that shit. I can't be going to Sule for open audition, please. So yeah, I just realized very quickly. I think I went for Sugar open auditions in like 2017, and I was just like, yeah, this is
I don't know how they do it.
That was an experience, and I was like, yeah, not again. So that's how I work. So as an actor, you need to find what works for you, and just go with that. So yeah, that's sort of how I approach casting as an actor and as a producer. Yes, it's a business decision, but I also try to find that middle ground. And I've said that when I'm in the driver's seat running productions, I would always fight for the, not necessarily the underdogs, but the people that can actually act who aren't getting that shot. I think one of the best things I've seen, or 2 projects. First of all, one of the reasons why I love Rihanna so much.
I was thinking of Rihanna too. I was thinking of Rihanna.
One of the reasons why I love Rihanna so much is that you have a lot of actors in there who are very good.
And you don't even know them.
Exactly. And I remember one fateful day in like 2016 or 2017, or was it 2018 or 2019, where James had asked me for a list of actors. And yeah, I sent him a nice list of people who I thought weren't getting that shot.
Yeah.
And then I just saw this movie, Aimofe, last week. Yeah, and the girl who plays one of the leads, I just found out a couple of days ago that was her first film role. And she was fantastic in the film. I couldn't even believe it, type thing. So shout out to someone like Lala, because that's also what Lala does.
Yes.
You know, she gives people who aren't getting their shot.
Yeah, I've actually been at an audition with her, and I noticed she's really looking forward to faces that are unknown faces.
Yeah, and see so in other parts of the world, that is the joy of a casting director is discovering people. You know, you want to be able to say, "I'm the one that found that guy." You know, that guy that everybody is making noise about now. I gave him his first shot. You know,
Yes.
that's like those are the things that casting directors live for. When you can discover somebody that hasn't been seen before.
Yeah.
It's not quite the same here because again, we don't have casting directors that work like that. You know,
Yes.
we don't even have casting directors like that.
I feel like the only platform, to be fair, that's actually tried with that is African Magic.
Yeah.
Like we get telenovelas every year. Like you
Yeah.
see faces there, like now this guy, Sammy.
Sammy.
He was in Uju Kokoro. Sammy Edehi. I can't pronounce his
Yeah,
name.
I know him. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Oh, he
But-
was in Ojukoro.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that. Like when I saw him as
Huh.
like online, I felt like, oh, who's this guy? Then I saw Uju Kokoro. I was like, oh wow.
Huh.
See,
Okay, I have
like
to go back and look
exactly.
I have to go back and look at that. Oh, I remember him now. He was in the
See,
car with Sean.
Exactly. Like I did not
I remember
notice
him now.
that.
Yes. I remember.
And they
him
do
now.
that a lot. They bring faces that we think we haven't seen.
Yeah.
But they give these people like a shot.
But see, African Magic can afford to do that. Right? They can afford to do that because
True.
again, you're not an independent producer selling a film.
Yeah.
Typing, so you can take those risks. A Netflix can afford to do that
Yes.
because again, you're not using somebody's face to bring people to watch it. People will watch it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why I'm grateful for those platforms, and I'm grateful for those platforms for upcoming actors because
Yeah.
now you're actually getting a bigger shot because those people are not making those marketing decisions on your head. Let's put it that way. Because at the end of the
I'm
time,
still thinking of Kanu ones this way. Ogun State ones this way. Oh my
yeah,
god.
at the end of the day, a lot of casting and marketing decisions. Because using this person would help with your marketing costs and all that. So when you think about it, a lot of casting is actually marketing decisions these days, I think. But with the bigger platforms, they don't necessarily have to do that. So
Yeah.
you'll be seeing a lot more new/unknown faces on these platforms. So shout out to them for that.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so you've been here. You said you've been in this industry for like 8, 9.
I'm trying to do the math. My math is so terrible. I'm trying to. Okay, 2013 to 2021 is how many years?
Don't ask me that question.
Let's just say 7 years. Okay, no, it's 8 years. It's 8 years.
Eight.
Yeah, because my first job was 2013. Giddy Up was 2013. So 8 years.
That was your first job.
Yeah, that was my
actor.
first job as an actor.
Mm,
So
nice.
shout out to Jade and Lala.
And now you're working with
getting
Jade
that.
again.
Okay, you know,
See?
full circle.
Yes.
So even
I love
when
moments like
even
that.
when I wanted to like produce properly, Jade was the first. She was like the first person on my list because I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I trust you enough to walk me through it. So for me, this is a
And she gives energy of creative producer director.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And
Yeah.
writer as well.
Yeah, because it's okay. It's oh god, I love that film. But anyway,
Yeah.
okay. So I'm
So, yeah,
going to
8
ask.
years.
Okay, so in 8 years, I feel this is a very. I don't know how to phrase this question, but
Okay.
I'm sure you've had more than one, Sha, but you're very. I'm leaving this industry for you people moment. I feel it's not one
I have that
moment.
every day. I'm not doing it again. Fuck you people. No. Let me see. What was the last one I had? Funny enough, the last one I had was like last month. Where I'm just like, maybe I should just go and get it 9 to 5. In fact, no, it happens every time. So remember when I said I was a photographer, right?
Yes.
And I was making a lot of money,
Yes.
right? I was making like $1 million a wedding.
I should go
And then some
consider
days,
that.
no, it's very different now. It's very different. Nah, it's very, because when I was doing it, we weren't plenty. We
Oh,
weren't much. We were like
That's
maybe
true
like
now.
5.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then some days now, I wake up and I look at my bank account and I'm like, guy, are you sure you're not going to find wedding to shoot? But no, I think for me, the most recent one, which actually, funny enough, sent me into a depression, was I spend a lot of time worrying about the future.
My God.
And in this our industry where that is...
He's so
if-
bleak.
Yeah. It was bad.
Mm.
Like it literally sent me into a depression. And for me, that was one of the periods where I was like, okay, how sustainable is what I'm doing? How sustainable is it? You can relate, right? You can relate. I'm like, how sustainable is this thing that I'm doing? Like, am I going to be like 50 still hustling like this?
God,
Like,
yes.
you know what? Like, when am I going to, like, whose daughter am I going to say I'm marrying like this? You know? So I think for me, that was the most recent one. And I'm actually just getting out of that. Let me see, which one actually just pissed me off the way I said I wasn't doing it again. I almost feel like I love Nollywood too much for that.
Oh wow.
It's weird. It's a weird relationship.
It's like a hate love relationship.
Yeah, it's almost like being with an okay. I was gonna make a what's the word? But it might be out of taste, so not. But no, because I think I've realized that for me, this thing has to work out because there's no plan B.
Yeah.
I can't function
I know I can function in 95, but
no, I can't function in 9 to 5.
Eventually.
No, because I've never worked in 9 to 5.
Same.
Never. I've never worked in 9 to 5. Like I went from school to photography.
At least you had I didn't even graduate when I started interning on set. I just went straight. So I don't even know how to function.
So, and I mean, the most structured I've ever had to do was at a radio station where it's like, okay, you have to come in for these 3 hours a day to come and do your radio show. So for me, I don't know that I can function in a 9 to 5. And also, I have to genuinely love what I do to do it well. So even when I was in photography, I loved photography, but I tripped and fell into it. And I'd always said that when it became just about the money, I was going to stop. And that's literally when I stopped, to where it became like, it was like, oh, you want me to shoot your wedding? How much are you paying? Bring it. I will give you pictures. They may not be my best, but you will shall get wedding pictures. Me. And I'd always said that when I got to that point, I will stop. And I did get to that point, which happened to coincide with when I was going to drama school. So for me, this film thing has to work out.
So you don't see yourself getting to that point with film also?
I don't think with film it would ever be just about the money. Because where is the money, Seth?
Wow.
First of all, where is the money? It's not like we're making Hollywood money yet. Hey, let's not get into that conversation. How much do writers get paid?
Oh, I'm not going to answer.
Ooh. I mean, we talk about actors this whole time. How much do writers get paid? How people get paid 15K for a script?
That's slavery.
Okay. Writers, that is slavery.
Yes, a reminder. No, that is exploitation.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And actors as well, that is slavery. 15K to come and act is bullshit. I'm sorry.
Please, know your word. They'll say you're carrying shoulder, but please carry that shoulder very well.
In fact, me, I've gotten to the point where I'm like, look, I don't leave my house for less than certain amount because I can make that money in my house. So why am I coming to stress myself on your set for 50K?
15K thing triggers me.
And
the person was really like, I saw it on Twitter. She was really angry. I was like, She's like 15K for, I think she said for a feature. I was like, a what?
And they will offer it to you and act like they're doing you a favor.
Yeah. I can't do it by myself, but I don't have the time. Please create time and do it.
Sorry. So actors, I mean, now as an actor, if you approach me with certain money, I will kindly tell you, I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry, this is my rate. Can't afford it. And for me, it's two things. Either, so if your character and your story are sweet, I can compromise on money small, right? But if the character is somehow, and the script is somehow, you have to come correct with your money. So I know that, okay, this one we did for the money type thing. So for me, it's like you either learn or you earn. It's one of those two things. You learn or you earn.
Funny you bring that up. I want to ask if you've ever done a project that you hate. But there's a reason, like, some project that you're not going to post that project on your feed ever.
You can see what I haven't posted on my page. Before one producer comes to me, I'm like, yo, so that's why you did not post my project. No, I actually say this all the time. I'm happy with about 95% of my filmography.
That's nice.
Because a lot of actors complain all the time that they get shit scripts. And I don't know what it is about me, but they don't bring those scripts to me.
Hashtag cut soap. Cut soap for your mates.
Like I don't get a lot of bad projects. And again, maybe it's because of the way I work, because I'm very targeted with my, I wanted to call it marketing, but I'm very targeted with my efforts. So I know who I want to work with and I know why I want to work with that person. And that's who I focus on. That's who I send my emails to, type thing. And yeah, and like I said, most of my work has come from that. So because it's an intentional effort, I'm happy with. I'm trying to think of. Okay, I know the one I'm not happy with, but I cannot talk about it.
That's fine. You don't have to mention it.
Yeah, but I'm happy with about 95% of my film.
I don't know why I just feel like I know what you're talking about.
I feel like you may know, you
But
may know what I'm
anyway.
talking about, but I can't talk about it. But yeah, generally, I don't think there's any project that I've been on that I'm like, yeah, fuck this project.
Okay. So earlier on, you said you wanted to mention, like, you want to talk about mental health for actors. And so please, you have the, you have the floor.
Mental health. So like I said earlier, I'm just coming out of I now term it my Great Depression. I mean, because we have to be dramatic with it. Like, we have to be dramatic with it. I mean, it is 2020. It's the 20s.
See?
Hey, look at you. But no, I think it's very key, especially in our industry, to take mental health seriously because people are losing their minds out there, right? And I've had conversations with a lot of actors who are going through the same thing. You know, I've had to talk people off the edge, literally talk people off the edge, type thing. And part of it is because you realize that, first of all, with the work that we do, we're required to be emotional as actors. It's part of our job description. Emotion is, in fact, is number one on our job description.
Yeah.
So you're very in touch with your emotions. Your emotions are right there on the surface. And if you're not careful, it can send you off the edge, type thing. So as actors, you need to know how to manage your emotions, especially when you're not working. Because the thing about emotions is, yes, you can call them when you're on set.
Yeah.
When you're not on set, they just come and go as they want. You know, you can control them in character, but when you're not in character, they just go all over the place. And because of the unpredictability of our work, it can be very daunting when you look into the future and you're like, shit. You know, and for me that was the issue. So actually I had to start seeing a therapist. And you know, we had to, and you know, even in therapy we're talking about, you know, things in the past, and I'm like, look, that's not the issue.
But
that's not the issue. That's not the issue. It's not the past. It's not what has happened. It's what's going to happen. So yeah, as much as possible. And then I started coloring. That has been amazing for my mental health. Coloring is fantastic. But generally, to our industry as a whole, just look out for your mental health. Like, don't, you're not crazy, although you may be crazy. In fact, half of us are crazy. Let's just put it out there. Maybe, no, actually, you know what? There are only 2 normal people in this industry, and I'm one of them.
Wow.
The rest of you can fight for the
Very
second
bold.
spot. I'm very, very bold. There are only 2 normal people in this industry, and me, I'm one of them. So the rest of you can Hunger Games it out for the last second spot.
I'm number 2.
You don't sound very convinced.
I'm telling myself we are number 2.
But no, really, I think it's a very serious thing, and it's not something that we talk about and address a lot, even within our industry. And because of what I've gone through, because literally it was like for a month I didn't get out of bed, type thing, and I couldn't even get myself to even call people. Like, there was literally a day where I was looking at my phone for an hour, and it was almost like I was paralyzed. Wow. I couldn't pick up my phone to call anybody, and then I just started crying, type thing. So I mean, depression is a real ass thing. And that's why when you asked at the beginning, how am I said, today is a good day. I don't know how tomorrow. I don't know how I wake up tomorrow.
Answer, I understand the answer.
Because I can wake up tomorrow and it's just like, yeah, it's one of those days. But really, actors, producers, directors, look out for your mental health. Writers, because
Yeah.
in fact, you people are the crazy ones. You people are the crazy ones because I don't know how you pull all that stuff out of thin air and just write a script. Like, how? How do you even write dialogue? Do you like
It's
talk
like
to yourself
studying.
in different voices?
Yeah, you have to.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I saw someone actually explain a perfect quote. I was like, yes, thank you. Dialogue is really like you have a conversation with yourself, then you know, put it.
Can we see how
It's more-
crazy you sound?
Because it's really watching other people talk.
Yeah.
Then when you're writing, you have to act with yourself.
Oh, wow.
Well, for me, Shao. But it's a common thing. Like, you actually have to act with yourself. So it's realistic. Because at some point, you
Huh.
get too comfortable. You start writing robots. People are saying the same thing. And
That's
you don't want that.
interesting. I've always because for me, dialogue in particular, I've always wondered
something
how
like
people write
Rihanna now.
dialogue.
When we start watching the actors, like when we see
Yeah.
Jafar, and we know Jafar always stands like this. So you just know he's going to say something very annoying, but he's standing
Yeah.
like this. So you see you're acting as Jafar, and you're like, my God.
I like that. I like that. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm very fascinated by writers because I'm just like, even if you put a gun to my head, I can't do it. And for me, dialogue in particular, I'm just like, how do you write two people talking when it's just you? But shout out to writers out there, man. You guys do, and you guys are crazy.
Thank you.
You're the crazy ones,
Thank
but crazy
you.
in a good way. Crazy in a good way.
Okay, let's do something lighter. We're talking about mental health.
Okay.
So this is my game. I'm saying my
Okay.
game as if I didn't just take it from the internet.
Okay.
But it's like 2 truths, 1 lie, basically. It's just to
Ah.
make things.
In my house, we don't used to lie.
Sorry, you're
We
an
don't used to lie
actor.
in my house.
Are you a producer? Producers can lie. Oh my God. We don't have the money. That's it.
But sometimes we actually don't have the money.
You will never have the money.
No, some people actually have the money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually saw a producer tell me like, oh, we can afford it. I was like,
Yeah,
oh my God.
Like,
Oh my God, I want to cry.
Like I live for when I'm talking to a producer and I'm like, this is my rate, and they're like, okay. I'm like, wait, you mean what? Cool.
Yes.
So yeah, some people actually have the money, but sometimes we actually don't have it. Sometimes it's beg. No, producers don't beg. That's another thing. Producers, I know you may really want to work with this person, but if you are negotiating with them and it's not working, don't beg. Then
And don't
somebody
cut
else
out the money from someone else to pay for another person.
that has happened to me as an actor.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and I found out. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I still haven't recovered, and this was
Oh,
this was like
fight.
20. This was. But I'm not going to say the year because the person will know. They will know that because they don't know that I know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
2 truths, 1
pains
lie.
me. It's still pains me. Okay, 2 truths, 1 lie. 2 truths and a lie.
So you see your 3 things, the 2 truths and the 1 lie. And I'll try my best.
The lie is right there. It's the 2 truths that we're struggling with. Actually, no. It's the 2 truths that are right there. It's the lie that I'm struggling
Once again, this is the longest conversation we've had. So I'm about to like not get it right anyway. So
with. Okay, let me think of this. Okay. I've gone bungee jumping. I've gone swimming with sharks.
oh my God.
I've gone skydiving. One of those is a lie.
Oh God. Sorry to me.
You should ask.
No, wait. I feel bungee jumping is a lie. Bungee jumping is a lie.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
No, that's actually the truth.
Okay.
Oh, that's one of the truths.
So which one is a lie?
Skydiving.
Oh, I was going to say
Yeah.
that too.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like similar to me.
So I went bungee jumping
So wait,
Because I
excuse
couldn't
me. Why
afford
did you go and swim
skydiving.
with sharks? What were you looking for?
because it was fun.
Mm.
Or it sounded like it would be fun, and it ended up being fun. So it was so funny. It was the same trip that I went bungee jumping, that I went swimming with sharks, which is when I turned 25. So I was just like, yo, if I die
turned
at
25 in a
25,
pandemic.
oh,
So people are doing bungee jumping and it's fine, it's fine, it's fine.
yeah, don't
It's
worry,
fine.
30 will come.
No, no.
30 will come. But no, when I turned 25, I was just like, you know what? Fuck it, let's just do everything. If I die, I die. At least I've seen 25. So on the same trip, I went bungee jumping in Dubai, which was crazy. That one I can't believe I actually did. But swimming with sharks, it just seemed like it'd be interesting. So they literally drop you in an aquarium like a shark tank.
Like the sharks and they
Yeah.
bite.
No, so
Okay.
So here's the thing, right? They say that sharks actually don't like human meat,
Yeah, I saw
right?
that
Because
theory.
apparently we're not very tasty.
We
right?
can't be. Look at us.
Apparently, we're not very tasty. So when sharks attack people, they think they're seals,
Yes.
right?
And like I said,
Because-
I heard, is it soft birds?
Yeah,
deceive
so we
them?
make the shape of seals in water, so they think we're seals, and that's why they attack people. And so, I mean, it took a lot of convincing, but I got in the shark tank, and they actually swim up to you, and you can actually touch them. It's pretty cool. It's actually pretty cool. Yeah, and then when you run your hand against them, because they have scales, right? So you run your hand against them one way, and it's smooth, and then you run it back in the other direction, and it can literally cut your hands.
Ew.
Because they look smooth all the way
Yeah.
in one direction, but then if you come across the other direction, it's like really sharp
Oh wow.
type thing. So yeah, that was, I think that every time I'm feeling some type of way, I just remind myself that, nigga, you went bungee jumping and you saw the sharks. Like, come
I can't
on.
do anything.
Come on. And then I need to go back to being that daring again because I haven't done anything like that in a long time.
Nice, fun.
But
fun.
yeah.
Okay, so what's a project or what are like Max's three?
Okay.
But like projects you've watched, Nollywood or international,
Okay.
that you wish you. This is an actor question, not a producer question.
Okay.
Like one of those projects that you wish.
answer too.
Projects you wish you acted on.
You said
Nollywood
and
or
international.
yeah, and or.
I mean, top of the list, Black Panther. If I anything Marvel, say, look, Marvel is the
See.
Marvel is the. That's where
Every
we're
day I
going.
think about the call sheet for Infinity War and Endgame.
Yo, I just think of being on, like just being
On
on
set.
set.
Let me
Like,
hold
yo.
water for somebody.
So yeah, definitely anything Marvel, but particularly Black Panther was because again, dream character Tony Stark. Especially the way Robert Downey Jr. plays it.
Yeah.
Nollywood, funny enough, I wish I was in and had produced Living in.
Huh.
Because
Original or
No, the remake. Because for certain reasons, one, it was an idea I had, right? So there was, I think it was like 2 years ago, I started rewatching old Nollywood films on YouTube. Because I was like, oh, it would be great to remake these films. You know?
Yeah.
So that was always one of my long-term projects, was to remake old Nollywood films. And then I saw Living in Budget, I was like, shit, somebody else.
Yeah.
And they did it well.
yes.
They
I
did it well.
loved
So even
it.
as an actor, I would have loved to be in that, and I would have loved to produce that. Let me see, what else? I mean, Mission Impossible. Yeah, I'd love to be. I'd love
Which
to do
one?
a Mission. Anyone, anyone. Like, yeah, I would love to do a Mission Impossible film. Clearly, I'm a big action because I'm a big blockbusters guy. Because again, Jurassic Park made me want
Yes,
to
I
be an actor.
guess. So that's the origin.
Yeah, so I'm a big like summer blockbuster movies type guy. For me, those are like Samuel L. Jackson has the career. No, actually, Hugh Jackman has my perfect career.
You're a musical guy.
Yeah, exactly. So I
Yes.
can do musicals and superhero movies.
I actually forget his Wolverine and his greatest
Exactly.
showman ever. Wow.
So he
Okay.
has my perfect career, followed by Samuel L. Jackson type thing. Because Samuel L. Jackson too also loves summer blockbusters. So yeah, I think those are my three projects.
Okay, as we come to an end.
Aww.
On
our longest conversation ever.
So we've actually spoken about the woes, the stress, but like, let me ask your most validating moment as a performer. Or do you want to answer as a producer? Just which one?
I don't know if I've had it as a producer yet too, because
I
I
actually
still,
wonder what's a validating moment for a producer.
when you make 600 million in box office, that's valid. That's the most validating.
Wow.
Yeah, as a producer, it's when you make your money, and I'm just on my first film, so I don't know yet. But as an actor, um, for me, it's when okay. So when I was in drama school, there was something I struggled with. Right, when I'm performing, like when we do performances, after the performance, we would get notes and all that on what to change. And I always struggled when I didn't get any notes because for me, it just felt like, were you even watching me? Like,
Mm-hmm.
was I even worth paying attention to for you to take
Yeah.
notes? But my teacher said something to me. She was like, if I don't give you any notes, just keep doing what you're doing. It means you're doing it right,
Oh wow.
type thing. And so I took that on. So I take that on as an actor now. So if I'm on set and I'm doing something and director doesn't complain, as long as I trust the director, I just take it as, oh, I'm doing the right thing. I mean, I would ask, is there anything you want to see differently? Is there anything I should
Yeah.
do differently? And in recent times, like you spoke about this thing that Javo does, it just came to me one day
Yeah.
and I started doing it and it just worked, the type thing. So when people point out stuff like that, like stuff that I just did and people notice, it's like,
Yes.
oh, I actually know this acting thing.
Oh.
So I'm not just so it's not just fluke. So it's not just fluke. So I think the most recent one that happened, I was talking to someone 3 days ago and they were actually talking about Rihanna again.
Mm.
And there was a certain nuance that somebody had picked up with Jaffo. They're like, oh, the Jaffo with the beard is much more distinguished and dignified. I'm like, oh, you noticed that? Oh, I actually did. I did some work on that. I did some work
Wow.
on that because younger Java is just all over the place. You know, he doesn't
Yeah,
have
he's actually
beard. He's
calmer
looking,
now and he's
yeah,
frustrated.
and he's old.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like 45, please. So yeah, I love when people pick up on that stuff. That's the stuff that gives me validation. I mean, the awards will be great, the Oscars will be great, but because that's validation from your peers.
Yes.
But I do love when people pick up on the little things type thing. So yeah, I think those are my validation.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, thank you so much.
This was fun.
Yeah, this was
This
fun.
was fun. I quite enjoyed. I was nervous at the beginning, but
Same. I'm always nervous. But
hey,
thank
we
you
got
so
through it.
much, Demi.
Thank you very much.
So do you have any projects like you want people to go out and check out? Anything you're working on?
Yes. So currently, I have a movie in the cinemas called The Wait, which stars Nsekwe Tim, Kate Henshaw, Demi Megotanwa, Chimezie. So that's currently showing in cinemas. In July, I have Dwindle coming out with film one. I'm trying to think of, when people ask me this question, I just blank. And then of course, like I said, I've co-executive produced my first film. That one is looking more like next year.
Okay.
I have another film that's coming out October 1st, which we haven't even shot yet.
Ah.
But we have released it. So we have to shoot
Yes.
and release by October 1st. So October 1st, I have a movie coming out. You'll definitely be hearing more about it by then. Yeah, and then I also do a radio show on
Okay.
Bounce Radio Live. So I went back to radio because I actually missed radio, and I found a platform that could work with my schedule, so I can record wherever I am. So I'm usually on set recording my radio show.
Oh.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so if you're ever on set with me and you see me in my car with a blanket over my head, I'm not doing jazz because I've been accused. I've been accused of doing jazz in my car before.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm just recording my radio show and I need to soundproof it type thing. So yeah, I host a radio show on Bounce Radio Live from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 12 a.m. on Saturdays. And it's just great music, great vibes, and all that good stuff.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. This
It
was
was a
fun.
pleasure.
All right.